Steve and Marge were introduced to the club through an event, and then they requested a meeting with us. And my impression of them then is the same impression I have of them now, just kind, down-to-earth people.
I had the great fortune of meeting Mr. and Mrs. Townsend, I believe it was about 2 years ago now. And they were part of the Boys and Girls Club of Sarasota and DeSoto counties. And they invited us to come in and talk about some scholarship opportunities that they wanted to be involved in.
Well, I first met Steve and Marge in the early 70s, back in high school. But they were 2 years ahead of me, so we really didn't hang in high school with them being upperclassmen. But what I do remember about Steve in high school is that he was an incredibly hard worker. He actually had a full-time job running a pizza shop for the Papadopoulos family while he was in school and while he played sports. So he balanced work, school, and sports when he supported a single mom in his family.
I grew up with a mom being a single parent, trying to raise 3 kids. We moved an awful lot. I lived in urban areas in Hartford, lived in virtually every project that there was in Hartford.
I grew up in the northeast corner of Connecticut. It's a very rural area. Spent time down by the river. We just were outside all the time. There wasn't a lot of other things to do there.
Putnam High for me was probably the most stable environment I had educationally, because I actually spent 3 years there uninterrupted. And it's a wonderful teachers that sort of helped point me, in the right direction as it related to education. And then my mom was really a stickler because, she expected all of the kids to do well at school, and but she didn't have the resources to put anybody through college. But I remember my mom saying, Steve, you're going to go to college. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you'll figure it out. And for us, the community college was the the way you could start in a cost-effective manner to get an education. And so that's how I started at Quinebaug Valley Community College.
I went to Amherst College for 1 year, and then they were closing. And so I went to Quinebaug Valley Community College to follow up with that. And then I kind of dropped out because we had a baby coming and what have you, and life circumstances changed, and it was more important to get Steve through school. And so we did that, and then after a number of other activities of getting him through and running businesses, later I went back and finished my associate's degree in liberal arts and then accounting associate as well. We got Steve through school, and we had a little bit of cash that we had saved from my first job of winding bobbins in a factory. And we opened a convenience store, and with Steve's tutoring, I ran the stores, and eventually we opened the laundromat next door, and then I opened the restaurant on the other side. So at one point we were running all 3 businesses, and I had the best teacher.
Being sort of a serial entrepreneur, was something I always wanted to do. And I go back because I worked for a first-generation Greek family that came over and opened a business. And so I learned my business skills really from them. I jokingly say I got my MBA from Bryant University, but I got my PhD working for the Greek family at a pizza house.
Steve and Marge were very open with their story about where they came from, and that the 2 of them were both the first to get to go to college. I too was one of the first, was the first to go to college in my family. And so there's that connection immediately because we kind of get each other.
Steve and Marge had a challenging upbringing, and their early life together was challenging. They were going to work, raising a family, going to school, and I think they see themselves in the children at the Boys and Girls Club.
The Boys and Girls Club, the mission was to not only take care of these young children, but help create opportunity for them so that they can, meet their life destinies. And Take Stock just sort of was additive to that. They helped, mentor these young people, and they keep them on track to graduate. And what we tried to do as part of this is then make available. We said, if you go through and you do all these things you commit to doing, there'll be a scholarship for you at the end of the day. And we felt that was important. So that has really become our passion, which is to create as many opportunities for scholarships to young people as we can, and that not only down here at the Boys and Girls Club, but continuing to do it up in Connecticut at Quinebaug Valley Community College.
Steve and Marge know the value of education. And what they're trying to do is give our children a chance to obtain that.
They are good people. They are just good people. I can't even imagine them not receiving this honor. And we are just so honored to be part of it and to know them, and that our students get to know who they are and how kind they are.
Steve and Marge Townsend are the embodiment of this award, not only for what they're doing for the children here in Sarasota and DeSoto counties, but what they're doing for people all over. Their scholarship fund in Connecticut, helping families in Haiti, and building houses for people in Mississippi. They are true champions.
We've been blessed in our lives, and we feel like this is a way we can give back. So when you walk in and the young people meet you, they look you in the eye, they shake your hand, and you see what the impact is that the club has on these young people's lives. And then if that doesn't inspire you, then I don't know what would.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Townsend. I wouldn't be here without your support.
Thank you, Mr. and Ms. Townsend. This scholarship will help me throughout my life, and it's a big opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Townsend. You've impacted my life forever.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Townsend. Your generosity has allowed me to further my education.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Townsend, for giving me this opportunity to pursue my academic dreams.
As a Townsend Scholar, I now have a scholarship that will allow me to attend college and earn my degree.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Townsend, for not only believing in my future, but giving me the opportunity to excel at college. Thank you for what you both have done.